Welcome to the Tech Today podcast powered by CEO Radar. It's your host, John Maeda. We had a bunch of CEO changes last night, which you will see reflected in our CEO Radar database at ceoradar.com. Those include Disney, Bob Iger stepped down, MasterCard, which announced the change, but it doesn't go into effect until January of 2021. And we had co-CEO Keith Block of Salesforce.com step down. So Disney's the one I wanted to focus on because Disney had its earnings call on February 4th, didn't announce a change. I always assumed that when Bob Iger stepped down, it would be announced on the earnings call. It would be the type of thing where, let's say, for example, they announced it on the Feb 4th earnings call to take effect on July 1st, or take effect at the end of the calendar year. Give us 2 or 3 quarters more with Iger as CEO before he bumped himself up to full-time chairman before his contract expires at the end of 2021. That's how I thought it would take place. And if it didn't take place on the February call, then it would take place on the March quarter call in April and, follow a similar pattern. So instead, in truck quarter, they announced the change. Bob Chapek becomes CEO. Chapek was head of parks. My assumption was that Kevin Mayer would have been named CEO. He is the chairman of the DTC business, the Disney's direct-to-consumer and international business units. Given that DTC has been the strategic focus of the company for the past couple of years. Iger and the company placed a big bet on DTC, direct-to-consumer being Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, the streaming effort. Hulu's part of that. So I've seen this movie before, and what I think, my guess as to why the abrupt announcement is that there's probably a deal going on in the background. My working assumption has always been that Apple would be the acquirer of Disney, and it won't be an easy deal. I think Apple and Disney have a good relationship that goes back to the days when Steve Jobs was CEO and Iger negotiated the deal for Pixar. If you remember, Steve Jobs was CEO of both Apple and Pixar for a period of time. And when Jobs sold Pixar to Disney, he became Disney's largest shareholder. And so there's history there. So from a relationship standpoint, a cultural standpoint, I think there's a good fit. I think Disney's approach to content and Apple's approach to content is similar in that they tend to generate consumer-friendly content. I think where it gets a little bit complex is the non-content assets, the parks. What's the transaction going to look like there? Probably a spinoff would be my guess. But it would take some time to negotiate fair value. It's not like Disney Plus is at steady state. The thing only just got rolled out. So how do you value Disney Plus? How do you value the DTC business? How do you value the content business, the content portfolio? And so I think that means in part, the way you would structure a deal would in part include Apple shares, so that if you're a Disney shareholder and you're going to sell a business that you're bullish on before it's, in effect scaled, you want to be able to participate in that upside. So therefore you would request equity in Apple and the acquirer in order to be able to participate in that upside. So again, I don't know for a fact, it's purely speculation, and it's just the reason why I'm speculating is that the timing of this announcement runs counter to everything that you read about Iger in the press over the past 10 or 15 years, about how he's disciplined, he's very deliberate. Sure, he has a creative side, but he's meticulous in his planning, detailed in his planning, detailed in execution, process-driven. So this announcement just flies in the face of everything we know about Iger, the abruptness of it, the timing of it, and so forth. So that's why I'm speculating that there was a catalyst that was outside of Iger's control that drove the timing of this announcement and CEO change. And why would he have to step down? A large, complex transaction between Apple and Disney would be awfully difficult for Iger to negotiate while he had the CEO title and the day-to-day responsibilities that go along with that title. A lot easier to name a CEO from within, bumps himself up to chairman, executive chairman, and spends time negotiating that deal. So that's all for now. See y'all next time.